Now, when we prepared for the interview a few days ago, I told you I have a dilemma as a conference organizer because there are so many payment companies, and it's very hard to understand who does what. I mean, let's talk maybe first about the payments market. How big is it? I mean, how gigantic is the payment market?
So online is about 1.5, 1.6 trillion. And it is about 10% of the global card market, not commerce market, card market.
Okay.
So it's gigantic. It's one of the largest industries in the world.
And you are processing credit cards mostly?
And we are processing mostly credit cards, and we are processing mostly online and cross-border.
Right. And considering that retailers have such thin margins and the customer acquisition costs are going up, are you worried that there are other, like, potentially cheaper payment forms like wallets, etc., are taking over in the long term?
The market is
doesn't look like it, no?
No, the market is very, very big. Right now you have multiple payment methods. You have the wallets. You have still, you know, in certain countries people are still paying cash, like in Germany. But I think over time we are in one direction: get rid of cash and move to virtual cards. It will not be the plastic. People will use their phone,
account numbers.
Account number. They will use a different way to pay, but it will not be cash. You know, in China it's already happening. In Scandinavia it's about to kick in, and
Zimbabwe is very big,
and Israel as well. You know, they are limiting the use of cash. So I think we're experiencing a huge growth there.
So it's a huge market. So tell us a little bit about Credorax. Like, what's your focus? What's the sweet spot? What problems you solve for your big customers?
So Credorax, first and foremost, is a tech company that became a bank, and not a bank that have an IT department. We are one of the first technology companies to become a bank in all the 32 EEA countries, so all over Europe. We have a license in the United States and a license in Japan. And we focus on e-commerce cross-border. Means companies that are selling online, and in most cases outside of their native jurisdictions. We are one of the fastest growing members of Visa and MasterCard worldwide, but we offer more than 140 alternative payment methods globally.
That's important because of transaction acceptance.
Yes, it is important because of many things: transaction acceptance, the ability to offer domestic and local payment methods. Absolutely.
Okay. What type of customers you have?
So we have our biggest vertical is OTAs, online traveling agencies. Companies such as Ctrip, you know.
Travel is very competitive. No?
Yes, it's very competitive. It's a growing market that is experiencing a tremendous growth. We serve people that are doing online services, online products, video streaming, physical goods. We are not going after point of sale. Means the company is not providing service to supermarkets, because we believe that this is a much more competitive and saturated market. So we focus on companies that want really to sell globally.
Right. And let's talk a little bit about differentiation, like also versus the other payment providers. And I think everyone does something good to someone because they're all quite sizable players. I think you have like 20, 30 players who do like sizable stuff. What is it for Credorax? Why are you winning and growing your market?
We win business because we own the technology. Winning business by shaving a few basis points from fees doesn't win business for the long run. And we win because we try to solve a real pain. So if the customer is suffering from a lower approval rate, so a lot of transactions are being declined. If the customer is paying too much for FX conversion, if the customer need a global roaming of his credentials and tokenizations, things that he needs a very fast and sophisticated solution. And the big banks, the Barclays cards, the Lloyds, the JP Morgan, it will take them weeks and months, and sometimes it will not be even available. So we try not to sell by saying, we are cheaper, or we can give you a discount on this currency, on that currency. We go after solving problems.
And how does it work in practice? Like if there's someone who wants to become a customer, will you ask for data, analyze the data, and say, okay, this is your status quo, this is what we think we can do for you?
Yes.
And then you go into a trial period?
The way we are growing, and one of the reasons why we are growing so fast, the company works with category leaders. So and again, I'm going back to this example, if I am serving C-Trip well, C-Trip have a huge ecosystem. So they tell their providers, look, I'm working with Credorax. Credorax helped me to significantly increase my approval rate in Korea, in Taiwan, in Southeast Asia. Try them. And by working with category leaders, you really get proliferated in the market.
It's a very interesting advice also for other companies. So
absolutely,
go for the biggest fish first, and then the others will follow.
Absolutely.
So we started by talking a little bit about where payments is going, and you said it's going to go from credit card to credit card, but it's not going to be plastic anymore, but it's signaled with a phone.
Yes.
What is the role of the big giants? Apple has recently launched Pay.
Yes.
Google is playing around with the category. We always were betting they buy Adyen, but then Adyen went public. So
too expensive
maybe
now.
It was getting too expensive. But I mean, the American system, by the way, in payments is very different, right? You do not have, also on the app side for the banking apps, the regulation seems to be, for that part, more rigid in the US. I guess it's to protect the financial monopolies there. But could an Apple or a Google break into this? Are you worried for them as a competitor?
No, I think, first of all, it's a gigantic market. Everyone that reads the economical kind of news, seeing the huge consolidation in this space. I believe that this consolidation will continue. This is a gigantic market that eventually is going to be served mostly by big companies. However, even the big companies need strong engines. They need the ability to execute fast. Otherwise, someone else will do it for them. And this is why you see a phenomena like Alipay now, or WeChat Pay, worth more than their mother companies.
Yeah. Well, that was the same with eBay and PayPal.
Yes, and therefore, I do see the trend of more and more companies such as Apple, such as Amazon, such as Google, getting into the payment because the payment presents a big portion of the value chain. Also my advice to some of the companies here, if you're in the e-commerce, if you provide any service, something that you want to be paid for, dealing with the payments is one of the biggest things that you can do for your net margins and EBITDA numbers. Because people need to get used to the fact that as I said, commerce and e-commerce lives in a very competitive environment, and EBITDA numbers will be somewhere around 3 to 5, 7%. That's it. Impacting this number, payment is one of the most effective ways to do that.
You deal with not just reducing cost, but it's increasing acceptance.
Increasing acceptance, making the payment more efficient, dealing with
That
the
means
FX.
having better funnel economics step by step.
Absolutely. Dealing with the FX, dealing with the ease of payments, dealing with the understanding where the payment needs to be handled with. That doesn't say that just the processor, but the entire food chain. Any technology that can really increase your business is dramatically influencing your bottom line.
Yeah. Maybe one last question,
Yep.
and actually we haven't asked it too much on this conference, and it was when we started to do business in Israel also as bankers, we always saw great technology, great product,
Yep.
also great things like this, like explaining the business, but then selling it, you know, building up a sales force, going to European countries, knocking at the doors, not something Israeli
were,
companies
active.
like too much.
Yeah.
There, with apps flyers earlier, obviously you executed very well on the sales and marketing side, but
Yep.
how was it for Credorax? Do you have a local sales team all over the world, in America, Europe, or you come out of call centers, or a combination? Maybe you can tell a little bit about how sales work for you.
So Credorax is a global company. It's not an Israeli company. It's a global company that have a very strong Israeli tech center. But we believe in localization. So in order for us to serve customers in Eastern Europe, we have an Eastern European team. We have a team in London that serves, I would say, the Western European countries. We have a team in the US that serves US countries, Canada and China. Yes, you need processes. Yes, you need strategy. Eventually, execution should be locally, not just the language, the business ethics, the behavior, the entire ecosystem needs to be localized. Otherwise, you will not succeed.
And was it difficult to find people selling your products in those countries? Did you find them on LinkedIn, or you used the headhunter?
No. We are very proud of how we recruit people and retain people. You know, recruiting is one very difficult thing.
I think there's two. There's
Retention.
hiring people and spending money online.
And we can do a whole seminar about it, but we are very, very proud for having one of the highest retentions.
But
in
it has
the
to be a
industry.
local group, basically.
It needs to be local group. There should be a very clear DNA that will go across the company in different sides. It cannot be that one entity will have a certain DNA that will attach the people into the company, and the satellite offices will have a different DNA. This is the beginning of the end for our companies. But if you make sure that the DNA will flow into all the satellite offices, you build a good company.
Today, one of the speakers said he's using this presentation as a corporate video to share with all the employees
Absolutely.
to get the messages out and making
Absolutely.
sure everyone understands. Thank you so much for
Thank
that,
you,
Igal.
Marco.
All the
Thank
best.
you.